So you called him a Sherlock Holmes, right? So that would make me the Watson.
You Watson.
It's
You
interesting.
Watson.
It's interesting because I call him the Michael Jordan, and that makes me the Scottie Pippen. So that's kind of how I go about it.
Welcome to the cast and crew of Cross on Prime Video. It's the great show, James at Patterson adaptation. But I think this has a real different flavor, so I'm going to start with you, Ben. This is something that's taking place in D.C., as readers of the novels will recognize, but you've put a real D.C. flavor on it. I'm from the D.C. area myself. And my favorite thing is, of course, Ben's Chili Bowl. Is there truly no cursing in Ben's Chili Bowl? Is that accurate?
I mean, they don't have that. They don't have a sign on the wall. But if you get in there, especially if you're with the owners, you just suddenly get on your best behavior. It's a vibe. And it doesn't mean that it's, sterile. It just means like, everybody's just bringing their best energy to Ben's Chili. And that was actually a huge surprise for us. We were actually scouting D.C. We had a priority that we wanted to make sure that the city of D.C. would be reflected, not just the way people are used to seeing it with the halls of power and the Capitol buildings and all of that, but the whole fabric of D.C. So as we're scouting the city and looking for the best way to do that, of course we find our way to Ben's Chili. And then we had a chance to meet with the owner's daughter, Vita, and she just really embraced us. And she said that she wanted to help us make DC be part of that campaign. And it went so far that we not only were able to shoot in Ben's Chili, which in and of itself is a huge thing. They don't normally let people shoot in there. She actually said the last time someone shot in there was Barack Obama. And so she let us do that. And then she actually let us replicate Ben's Chili in Toronto, where most of the filming takes place. So we have what we call Ben's Chili's North up in the stages in Toronto.
You can cuss in there, though.
And it is an exact replication, too. Like, they gave us the floor plans. We matched the tile, including the tile that had been replaced and repaired. The menu boards, everything is up in Toronto now.
Now, Aldis, we have a very different Alex Cross than people may have seen on screen before. Mm-hmm. I appreciate that the character is kind of like a Sherlock Holmes deductive powers kind of a detective, but you have a very organic way of depicting that. Can you tell us how Alex's process for figuring things out kind of out loud?
When it comes to how we shaped and formed Cross, there is a very different sort of perspective going into it, but we didn't have to fight for it because really it starts with Ben's vision. And the first time we really sat down and talked about things, we really just talked about where we were in our lives as men, what was going on, what we wanted, ambitions, fatherhood, all that kind of stuff, and that's what fed the character. What I'm noticing is that people are starting to see what they feel is a different idea, and to a degree, the ideation of a character that they envision in their head when they read the books. So that's something that I really love because we get to flesh out and live out the entirety of the Cross world, which is the advantage of being able to have a series because we have our time and our space to really build out a full world. We are not just focused on the cases. We're interested in the cases because we live with and love the people. You see, you got all the characters here, you know what I mean? And that's what people fall in love with. So the value of Cross comes from the value of his interactions with the world, with the characters. That's what helps shape him and drives him. There's a homogenous sort of energy that goes into how we feed each other to get the best out of each other. And when you see Cross and how he's dealing with things, his relationship with Samson, we're talking about mental health, all of these things that drive this man and drive his steps to being or trying to be the best he can be within such a tumultuous environment. Those are all granted to us just because of the format. We have a show, we have the time, we can live in it a little bit longer, we can actually get to know these people, and at the end of the day it really comes from this man's vision. So that's really hats off to him.
Mm-hmm. And that's a good segue to Isaiah, because John Sampson, I think he was in one of the three movies, but not to the degree that he's in this one. And I think it's crazy to me because you're an essential ingredient in Alex Cross's life.
So you called him a Sherlock Holmes, right?
Yeah.
So that would make me the Watson.
Watson.
It's interesting. It's interesting because I call him the Michael Jordan, and that makes me the Scottie Pippen. So that's kind of how I go about it. I think with Samson, what you see is someone who is constantly there, that has somebody's back. It's his brother, it's his partner, it's his coworker, it's his teammate. And I think that with Samson and the Cross family, he's got something there that really kind of he treasures, and it gives him strength. But within that strength, there's also a sliver of insecurity when it comes to family, just by the way he was kind of introduced into that family. So I think that what you see with Samson, and the reason why you're seeing so much more of him, is because he is such an integral part of that Cross family.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Now, Samantha, they could have picked a lot of different romantic interests from the books. There were a ton of them. But I think it's very interesting that they chose a childhood friend. Did you have to come up with kind of a backstory for yourself?
Oh, no, absolutely. It was definitely a collaboration, reading between the lines of what he's written, but also, for myself and my process personally, having these pivotal moments. I mean, the high school dance, what I wore, that was all written in. But then even before that, how he would stick up for me on the playground. I was bullied. Just giving myself these memories for Elle to really play out. And it just made it rich, the interaction which you will see, between Cross and Elle.
And Alona, we were talking a little bit before we went on camera that this was a light comedy. I think your character does kind of bring that flirtatious, funny in a way, the way that the chemistry comes in between the two of you guys. But of course you have to bring in the FBI element too. But where did that flirtatious element come from, and how did you have fun with it?
Me. It came from me. It's all me. I don't know what else to say. Next question. I'm kidding. I mean, look, it's Ben's writing. He writes funny, well-rounded characters that have multi-layered layers to them. And she's not just an FBI agent. She enjoys what she does. She's smart. She enjoys the process of it, and she enjoys another person as smart as she is. Alex Cross, or rather, she's as smart as he is. And it's just, when people enjoy what they do, they bring humor and fun and levity to it, and that's important.
And Isaiah's a hottie. I mean, can we just call that out? Can we just say
Yeah,
that?
it's not very difficult to bring flirtation into a cast this beautiful. I just wait till you see our scenes together down the line. Me and Samantha. I'm waiting to have my flirtation come out with her. It'll be fun.
Well, now, Ryan, does it bother you, and this is, I have to say, it was true for Tom on the Blacklist as well, does it bother you that we kind of peg you as someone to keep our eye on, even from the beginning, before any kind of antagonist is revealed for the show? Like, you can kind of tell something's up with this guy.
Yeah, no, that's great. I hope that happens. That doesn't bother me at all. This character is definitely hiding a few secrets when we meet him, and so you're right on the money. Yeah.
Well, it's crazy to me too that Elle brings you in. The connection that happens, that has to come from somewhere. Elle, do you feel like there was any suspicion on your character's part there, or?
Absolutely not. I mean, the way we present in public forums and spaces, especially professional ones, I mean, we all wear them. So it's really just how well curated and nuanced Ryan's performance is, and it would throw anyone.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Prime Video is airing Cross on November 14th.
Yes,
Can't wait for it.
indeed.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.